Beautiful boxing fans, listen up. Every day from now on until the Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez fight, I will be doing daily videos reacting to the professional fighters talking about this unbelievable matchup. Because listen up, you and me, us beautiful boxing fans, we know what we're talking about, or at least we think we know. But these pro fighters definitely know a few things more than you and me. So, who are we gonna talk about today? Jojo Diaz, the man who just fought Regis Prograis, the former world champion. The man gave an unbelievable take and a crazy take when it comes to Canelo versus Crawford. Let's listen up to what the man had to say and let's react. And the man shocked me, I'm not gonna lie. And he brought up a few good points that we are gonna discuss right now. But first, let's listen up to what Jojo Diaz had to say about this unbelievable showdown. Let's go.
I hope Terence Crawford does well and stuff like that, because I love the way he fights, and he's a hell of a fighter, and I respect him as well too. So I hope he puts up a good fight and everything. But at the end of the day, man, Canelo, if he catches you, dude, it's gonna knock you out.
Look, at the end of the day, I always say this: he took
Listen to this.
Biggest hit, and he took Beeble's biggest hit. I don't think Crawford can knock him out.
I think Terence Crawford can knock Canelo out if he catches him, because with Gennady Golovkin hit harder, but he was a lot slower. Yeah. So when Canelo's seen the punches coming, he's able to embrace. I think if Terence Crawford catches Canelo with a shot that he doesn't see coming, boom, then he can hurt him.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I hope Terence Crawford...
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, shout out to Jojo Diaz. The man is an absolute warrior. Have you watched his last fight versus Regis Prograis? Literally one of the best fights that I have seen in the past couple of years. Not even this year. The man is a warrior through and through. But let's talk about what the man just said. If you actually think about it, this quote in boxing that said, first of all, I'm going to talk about his prediction, and then we're going to give examples to what the man just said. Okay, first of all, you know this quote that says, the punch that you don't see is the punch that hurts the most? And this is exactly what Jojo Diaz is talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Now, do I think that Crawford will knock out Canelo Alvarez? It's going to be hard. But do I think that it's impossible? Listen, I've been watching combat sports for over a decade, ladies and gentlemen. And I've been watching MMA, boxing, jiu-jitsu tournaments, wrestling, kickboxing glory, CGI, everything and anything you can think of. I've been watching it all for over a decade. And nothing would ever shock me. Yes, Crawford knocking out Canelo would shock me. But nothing is impossible if you know anything about fighting. But let's actually analyze what Jojo said. You see how Canelo rolls with punches like no one else. No one rolls with punches like Canelo. And no one braces for punches like Canelo. And no one tucks his chin like Canelo. Why? I'll tell you why. Because of his reaction time. And I actually posted a video a few days ago talking about Canelo's underrated reaction time. The man sees what you're gonna do and knows what you're gonna do before you do it. Why? Because the man is so experienced, and because the man is coming up in weights. So he's used to lighter guys throwing punches, and that is why when he fought Berlanga and these guys, he saw a lot of their punches coming. But I'm gonna be honest, that Munguia fight, I have never watched a Canelo fight more than I have watched the Munguia fight. I have probably watched the Munguia fight tens of times, tens, and I mean tens, and I'll tell you why. That fight is so underrated. That fight is so unbelievable. When you talk about the setting, Mexican versus Mexican, and let me tell you this, every time I watch that fight, I find new stuff. that impressed me about Canelo, but also impressed me about Munguia. You know that in the past few years, Munguia is the only man who actually fought Canelo and didn't change his style. Like Munguia, he was like, hey, this is me. I'm going to come and fight Canelo in the same way. Charlo didn't fight Canelo in the same way that he used to fight. John Wilder didn't. I mean, John Wilder did, but John Wilder is not skilled, you know. Berlanga didn't. Berlanga ran for his life. Charlo ran for his life. Skull ran for his life. Munguia was the only one who fought Canelo. Like Bivol, he didn't care. Now, it wasn't enough to win the fight, but I gotta give him all the credit and all the respect in the world. Why? Because the man stayed true to his style. And he gave Canelo all the trouble in the world, let me tell you. He hurt Canelo to the body multiple times. And even, a lot of people think that, talk about that fight that like it wasn't close. Listen to what Eddie Reynoso told Canelo before the final round. He told him, you gotta go win this fight. This is your fight, go win it. Why? Because he knew that the fight was excellent. And even though Canelo definitely won the fight, but listen, Munguia had a lot of success in that fight. And it was an unbelievable fight. Now, let's get back to Jojo. What Jojo said. You know what? You know, Canelo, when Munguia was throwing punches at Canelo, he saw the first few. Like the first two punches that Munguia threw, Canelo saw them. But when Munguia was following up the shots, he was catching Canelo clean. And when I say clean, I mean flush. And that is why I believe that prime Canelo would have knocked out Munguia in 6 rounds. But because Canelo is slowing down just a little bit, but the man is so good, he's so great, he's so unbelievable that he can still beat these guys. But I believe that prime Canelo would annihilate Munguia. Prime Canelo would knock out Berlanga in 4 rounds. Prime Canelo would knock out John Wilder in 3 rounds. But Canelo is slowing down. And I believe prime Canelo would have cut the ring off and destroyed William Skull. Because listen, go watch William Skull versus Shishkin. Every punch that Shishkin was landing clean, William Skull was wobbling. He was wobbling all over the ring. He was out on his feet multiple times. And he was running in that fight too. But Canelo couldn't hurt him once. So even though Canelo is slowing down, both Canelo and Bud are slowing down. But they're both so great that they can still operate at elite level. And they can both still beat elite fighters. But getting back to Jojo's point, I get exactly what Jojo's talking about. Golovkin, especially in that first fight, I mean, listen, I believe that Golovkin, even though we love Canelo over here, and Canelo donated 30 million to Gaza, I love Canelo till he retires, and even after he retires, we will support the man with whatever he decides to do next. But listen, Golovkin won both fights. He did. I'm gonna be honest. You know, I have never watched as much Canelo tape as I have over the last few weeks in my life. I've watched every single Canelo fight available. And I have watched the Munguia fight probably like 10 times. So, you know, whenever I'm not running outside, whenever I'm doing the cardio on the bike at home, I'm watching that Munguia fight. I watched it many times. And let me tell you, like I said, Munguia had a lot of success. And I'm going to actually make a video this week breaking down that fight and giving you timestamps to where you watch, to where you should watch, to see where Canelo got hurt. But the man is so experienced, he hit it to the body. But nonetheless, Jojo Diaz, let's get back to the man's crazy prediction. I mean, he picked Canelo to win. But he said that Crawford can knock out Canelo. Now listen, let's give an example. Chris Eubank Jr., he fought the biggest punchers at 168. James DeGale. Not James DeGale, excuse me, George Groves. Not just George Groves. Chris Eubank used to spar David Haye, the former heavyweight champion of the world. And there's an interview of David Haye saying that Eubank got one of the greatest chins ever. But when Eubank fought a former, forget heavyweight champion of the world, he fought a former 147 pounder in Liam Smith. And Liam Smith cleaned his clock. Why? It's because Liam threw a combination, and in that combination he snuck a punch that Eubank never saw. And what happened? It knocked him out. Now, I'm not comparing Eubank's chin to Canelo, but I promise you, Eubank in his prime had a granite chin. Now, Eubank is also not in his prime, but so many factors to take into place, ladies and gentlemen. What if Canelo is going to age overnight? What if Canelo, I mean, listen, he never brought this much of hard-hitting sparring partners in one camp. What if they're just chipping away from him, and he enters on fight night, not the same Canelo, and but catches him with a flush shot? You know, whenever a shocking outcome happens in boxing, and by the way, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm just like talking about what Jojo's talking about. Whenever a shocking outcome happens in boxing, it didn't happen because of what happened that night. No. So many factors were building up until that night, fight night, where something shocking happens. So all I'm saying is this. Bring on September 13, because I believe it will be one of the most dramatic and exciting fights you will ever see. And I will be making, I mean, from all of my breakdown videos, you might think that I'm just picking Canelo. But listen, I'm giving both men all the credit they deserve. I'm going to post my full breakdown and full prediction at the beginning of fight week. And listen, bring on September 13, two legends, two icons, two all-time greats, two of the greatest fighters my eyes ever saw. Terence Crawford and Saul Canelo Alvarez.